Ever wondered what a year of unending challenges feels like? 2023 might just give you a hint. The year 2023 unfolded like a suspense novel, each page turning brought a new twist, a new challenge. The world spun on its axis, but the atmosphere was one of uncertainty, of unpredictability. The global landscape was a canvas of question marks, each filled with a different color of doubt. We saw the economic forecasts, heard the murmurs of recession, yet the data sang a different tune. Job markets thrived, wages grew, and companies exceeded revenue expectations. But the looming shadow of potential economic slowdown was ever present, casting a veil of apprehension. The Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes and geopolitical events made waves in the markets, yet the robust U.S. economy held its ground. Yet the belief in an impending recession, whether grounded in reality or not, had its own power. It was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, leading to reduced spending and layoffs. And while some parts of Wall Street were betting on a soft landing, others were preparing for a bumpy ride. On the other end of the spectrum, inflation was a roller coaster. After peaking in the previous year, inflation rates began to drop. The cost of goods fell for 6 straight months, and rental costs grew at a slower pace. The Federal Reserve's rate cut projections fueled a surge in stock market indexes. But the jubilation came with a word of caution. A continued decline was not guaranteed. And then, there was the specter of a health crisis. A potential resurgence of the Mpox virus loomed in the near future. Despite low cases since the previous year, clusters began to appear, indicating the virus's stubborn refusal to fade away. The vaccination rate remained low, and the high percentage of vaccinated individuals becoming infected added to the growing uncertainty. As we delve deeper into the year, the threads of normality begin to unravel. In the midst of uncertainty, the world economy decided to take us on a wild ride. The year 2023 was a year of unpredictability, filled with economic forecasts that seemed to sway like a ship in a storm. The whispers of an imminent recession were rampant, painting a grim picture that had many bracing for impact. Yet amid the gloom, the job market held its ground. It was a beacon of resilience, with growing wages and a robust gross domestic product. Companies were not just surviving but thriving, exceeding revenue expectations and proving that the economic landscape was far from barren. This surprising stability was a testament to the enduring spirit of the global workforce, a silver lining in an otherwise cloudy economic forecast. And then there was the oil market, a notorious puppeteer of the global economy. In 2023, oil prices dropped, a move fueled by concerns about the state of the economy, and new restrictions slapped on Russian energy. This decline was a welcome relief for holiday travelers in the United States, who found themselves benefiting from the decreased gas prices. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Across the pond, the United Kingdom was grappling with a wave of strikes. Ambulance drivers, nurses, and other essential workers took to the streets, their voices echoing with the frustration of a cost-of-living crisis and stagnating wages. This wave of walkouts was a stark reminder that beneath the surface of economic indicators, real people were struggling to make ends meet. So the year 2023 was indeed an economic roller coaster. We saw predictions of doom and gloom, surprising resilience, and dramatic fluctuations that kept us all guessing. But through it all, there were stories of human resilience, of people holding on, pushing forward, and refusing to be swept away by the economic storm. The roller coaster of economic highs and lows left many on the edge of their seats. Yet it also reminded us of our strength, our resilience, and the enduring spirit of the global workforce. The ride may have been wild, but it was a journey that we weathered together, a testament to our collective resilience in the face of adversity. Just when we thought we had it under control, Mpox reared its ugly head. Emerging from the shadows of public consciousness, the specter of Mpox began to stir once again in the spring of 2023. Federal health officials raised the alarm, warning of a potential resurgence of Mpox cases in the coming months, particularly during the spring and summer season. An unexpected cluster of cases in the windy city of Chicago brought back chilling memories of the peak in August 2022. Over an 18-day period, a total of 13 cases, 12 confirmed and 1 probable, were reported. All of these were among symptomatic men, a stark reminder of the indiscriminate nature of the virus. But what truly sent shivers down our spines was the revelation that nearly 70% of the affected individuals had received both doses of the Jynneos Mpox vaccine. This raised serious concerns about the efficacy of the vaccine, and the duration of post-vaccination immunity. How could so many vaccinated individuals become infected? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found itself grappling with this perplexing question, launching studies to delve deeper into the mystery. Meanwhile, the vaccination rate for Mpox remained disappointingly low, with only 23% of the at-risk population fully vaccinated. The virus, primarily spread through close physical contact, continued to find fertile ground for propagation, its association with sexual contact marking the current outbreak. The symptoms of Mpox, including a rash, flu-like symptoms, and swollen lymph nodes, may seem benign, but the potential for a widespread health crisis was all too real. As we navigated the economic rollercoaster of 2023, the resurgence of Mpox added another layer of uncertainty to an already tumultuous year. The shadow of Mpox loomed large, threatening to plunge us back into a health crisis. As we look back on the year, we realize just how precarious our situation was, a stark reminder of the persistent threats that lurk in the shadows, ready to pounce when least expected. While the world battled visible foes, a silent nemesis was at work. As the calendar pages of 2023 flipped, inflation became an invisible adversary, quietly infiltrating every aspect of the economy. It was a year that saw the rise and fall of inflation, a roller coaster ride that was as unpredictable as it was unyielding. In the early part of the year, the inflation rate soared, peaking in June at a staggering 9.1%. The cost of goods skyrocketed, leaving consumers grappling with price tags that seemed to change overnight. Everything, from the groceries in your shopping cart to the gas in your tank, came with a heftier price tag. But as the months rolled on, the Federal Reserve sprang into action. A series of rapid rate hikes were implemented, a bold move to wrestle inflation back under control. And slowly but surely, the inflation rate began to fall, an economic sigh of relief that was felt across the nation. By the end of the year, the annual inflation had dipped just below the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. Yet the cost of goods continued to remain high, falling for 6 straight months, but not enough to erase the earlier surge. The housing market too felt the pinch. Rental and housing costs grew at a slower pace, but the impact of the early inflation spike lingered. Wage growth, which had been strong, began to cool, easing pressure on employers to increase prices, but also leaving workers struggling to keep up with the cost of living. The silent nemesis had left its mark, subtly altering the economic landscape of 2023. Inflation, the silent nemesis, left its mark on the year, adding to the strain. It was a battle fought not with weapons but with economic policies and financial resilience. A battle that reminded us that sometimes the most formidable foes are those we can't see. Looking back, 2023 was a year that tested our resilience. It was a chapter in our story that was marked by unexpected trials and tribulations, but also by our unyielding spirit to overcome. We started the year veiled in economic uncertainties. Predictions of an imminent recession loomed large, casting a shadow of doubt and apprehension. Despite the fear, the economic data painted a different picture. A healthy job market, growing wages, a robust GDP, and companies exceeding revenue expectations were signs of an economy that refused to bow down. Even as the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes and geopolitical events threatened to impact markets, the overall U.S. economy remained steadfast. The belief in an impending recession, it seemed, was more of a self-fulfilling prophecy than a reality. Then we were faced with the resurgence of Mpox, an enigma that caught us off guard. It was primarily spread through close physical contact and had been associated with sexual contact in the current outbreak. Despite the low vaccination rate and the high percentage of vaccinated individuals getting infected, we did not falter. We continued to research, to understand, and to fight back against this invisible enemy. In the midst of this, the challenge of inflation was not one to be overlooked. After peaking in June at 9.1%, inflation in the United States began to drop, falling for 6 straight months. The cost of goods fell, housing and rental costs grew at a slower pace, and wage growth cooled. The Federal Reserve's rapid rate hikes and a recovery in global supply chains contributed to the decline in inflation. The economy continued to grow, defying fears of a recession. In the face of adversity, 2023 was a year that reminded us of our capacity to endure and adapt. It was a year where we were tested, but also a year where we proved once again that we are capable of standing tall in the face of challenges. It was a year that revealed our resilience, our strength, and our determination to move forward, no matter what. And if history has taught us anything, it's that we, as a society, always find a way to rise above the trials that come our way.